Did you watch the Mummers Parade?
No, I never watched the Mummers Parade.
Were you un-American?
No, I'm Philadelphian. That parade is stupid. It takes forever. It goes like for 14 hours. It's crazy. They have to separate it. There's like a day part of it, then there's a night version that they do in the convention center.
I remember as a kid they always showed it on TV and I didn't get it. I was like, what's the purpose of this thing here? Understand.
We're still asking that question today. It's crazy. All these lunatics out there running around wearing these silly costumes, yelling stuff. They did this whole thing making fun of Bruce Jenner.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they got a lot of trouble for it.
They did it this year or last year?
This year. They had some guy dressed up as Bruce Jenner, some guy dressed up as Caitlyn Jenner, and then they had a Wheaties box with his face on it, and then a Fruit Loops box with Caitlyn Jenner's face on it.
That's gonna fly in this day and age, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that group is in trouble. It was not good. And then some guy started cursing and yelling and saying all this stuff about gay people on TV. It was really ugly.
And what is it? The city of brotherly love?
Yeah, right.
Big pick 4, week 16 picks. The big O and the big D. Huge blowout wins. And then the big Buru, who couldn't believe that San Fran could come in under a 10.5 favor. Detroit blows them out. He says his famous last words, right? Well, unless Vegas knows something I don't.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's taking a mulligan on it anyway.
Isn't that the understatement of the century?
You know what's funny, though? That game was actually really tight for a while. Before Detroit pulled away at the end, and they won by 13, I think, or 14, something like that. So, I mean, it was close, but he got screwed at the end.
Any other comments on the blowouts from last week, Houston and Arizona?
Houston, that was a pretty interesting game. I mean, they crushed Tennessee. Tennessee had no interest in playing that game at all. They just were not into it at all. And then that Brandon Whedon crushed them.
Yeah.
That was crazy. And then Arizona, as I said last week, they might be the best team in the league. They annihilated a good Green Bay team. I mean, they made that team look ridiculous. They crushed them. And, you know, I mean, they're the team that no one was going to want to face in the playoffs, is that Arizona team. Because they can beat Carolina. And, you know, I think it doesn't matter if they go on the road. They have a kind of team that doesn't matter if they have to play in weather, you know, and Charlotte. I really like them. I mean, Carson Palmer is having an MVP season. He's not going to win, but he's had the best year of his career. And Bruce Arians is an excellent coach. I mean, a lot of teams are really stupid, including the Eagles, for passing on this guy. They're phenomenal. So that really was not a shock.
Did I screw up the pick? Did we win the Pesky-Eskin last week, or did we lose?
No, you were right. We lost. Lost Jacksonville, lost San Francisco, won Houston, won Arizona. It was 2-2. We're 34-28-2 for the season.
All right, so that's what I did wrong. 34. I had us with one extra win. That's what. All right, let me fix that. 34-28-2.
Yeah.
So then the Pesky-Eskin is instead of a 7-1-8, it's a 6-1-9. That's what I meant wrong. For some reason, I thought we won the Pesky-Eskin last week, but we actually lost it.
Yeah.
So that was another 2-4 week. That puts us at 34 of 64 at a rousing 53% margin of victory.
Yeah, it's better than what we've had in a couple of previous years. You know, been like around 45%.
Well, if the Buru and the Pesky-Eskin would get their shit together, we'd be doing real well.
Well, if the Buru got his shit together, that'd be an incredible comeback story.
I'm not sure what that looks like, him getting his shit together. What does that look like? He lives in a a dwelling that would pass a hazmat test, and what else does he need to do? Change his socks, things like this.
Yeah, stop throwing rocks at trees. Clean his apartment. Leave his apartment once in a while.
What was his big venture to the grocery store yesterday? What the hell was that all about?
I don't know. He called me, and he was actually walking to the grocery store, and I couldn't believe it. I don't think he's ever been there before.
Yeah. He'll be like, don't ask him what the price of a gallon of milk is.
Yeah, right. Don't ask him which aisle the milk is in.
Wow, so maybe he's a changed man now. Maybe he had a hot date coming over. He had to clean up the place and go get some groceries.
Yeah, I don't think so. He woke up at 3 in the afternoon yesterday, and then he went to the grocery store.
Well, that's all he needs. He needs his wife to be, by the time he wakes up, she's got the place all cleaned up. She's got breakfast on the table.
Yeah, but he missed breakfast and lunch. He said he stayed up all night on Friday watching movies. But that's what he said he did.
Debbie Does Dallas Again.
That's actually a fascinating movie because it was produced by the mafia.
Oh, really?
And they actually had undercover CIA or FBI agents on the set of that movie to try to find out who the money people were who made that film. And a lot of people got arrested, and then a lot of people died mysteriously after the movie was made within the next 5 years.
Wow.
They did a whole documentary on it on like Showtime or something years ago. It's really interesting.
Now I need to watch Debbie Does Dallas because I'm learning history.
That's right.
So,
It's an important film in the history of the United States.
that's right.
That's right. It's educational.
That and Deep Throat.
They actually did a documentary on that one too.
I know, see?
Because Linda Lovelace went crazy afterwards.
I'm just trying to learn history, that's all. I'm trying to learn about the good music in those movies.
Oh yeah, they had a big music budget.
Yeah. The big O guarantee for week 17, final week of the season, is going to be the Indy Colts. They are at home against the Tennessee Titans, who got
Really?
last week.
You know, Josh Freeman is starting for them today.
Josh Freeman is starting, hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL in over 2 years. What's not to like with this scenario?
Well, he's starting for the Colts.
I know, he hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL in over 2 years.
Okay, just making sure you knew that.
Yeah, and starting against the Colts, he just got signed after their Hasselback went out, and then their backup third stringer went on the IR with a hamstring. So they signed Freeman and a guy named Lindley on Tuesday.
Lindley is awful.
Oh, is he? Where's he at coming out of?
He played for the Cardinals last year. He cost them a chance to win in the playoffs. He was so awful. He had the worst playoff completion percentage or quarterback rating or something in the history of the NFL.
Well, at least he's not starting.
No.
So and Freeman, I mean, where did they pick him up? He was just on a what do you call it?
He was at home doing nothing.
He was home. He was home shoveling the driveway and got the call. Or what?
Shoveling the driveway. Shoveling what?
That's right. We don't have any stuff. Forgot about global warming. But the Colts do have a playoff scenario potential on the line here, 7-8. They're vying for that spot in the AFC. What is it? AFC South, where they could bump Houston. There is a scenario where they could bump Houston, but it's how many different events have to happen? They need 7, so they need to win. So the one game back from Houston, they need to win, combined with a a Houston loss, and then 7 other results, tiebreaker strength of schedule. But there is a scenario.
Yeah, it's a crazy scenario, but it's probably not going to happen. I mean, if Houston wins, and that's it.
But it's a slim cover. It's a 3.5, 3.5, and they're at home. So hey, the money's actually moving over towards Indy right now.
Well, I mean, based on Tennessee's recent performances, I can understand that. They've been awful. They're playing with their backup, who was awful. Your boy Mettenberger.
Yeah, Mettenberg. What about Houston? What's their coach scenario? Is their coach on the ropes or anything like that?
No, if they win, they're in.
No, I'm
Against Jacksonville, they're in the playoffs.
Never mind. I'm talking about Tennessee. What's their situation with their coach?
Well, they fired Wisenhunt back in week 5 or something.
Oh, okay. So
they're in the market for a new coach.
So they're on an interim coach right now.
Oh yeah, a lot of coaches are going to get fired. He's gone. Chip Kelly got fired. The guy from the 49ers is going to be fired. The guy from Indianapolis is going to be fired. Mike Pettin in Cleveland is going to be fired.
Lovie Smith should be fired.
No, he shouldn't be fired. He should get one more year. If he's bad next year, then he can get fired.
Big Danny D guarantee week 17.
All right. My pick this week is Minnesota at Green Bay, which is the Sunday night game. Green Bay is favored by 3. I am taking Green Bay. They were thoroughly embarrassed and annihilated by the the Cardinals last week. And I think they're going to play better. I mean, they're going to be at home, and they have a chance to win the division. And Aaron Rodgers is going to will this team to win this game. He's not going to let them get embarrassed again. I mean, that was just ridiculous. I mean, the Vikings aren't in the same class as the Cardinals, even though the Vikings actually played much better against the Cardinals than Green Bay did when they played on a Thursday night a few weeks back. But I just think Green Bay is going to pull this one out because they're at home and because Aaron Rodgers is not going to allow this to completely collapse here. I'm sure he's disappointed by the way he played. You could tell their coach was just completely pissed off at the end of the game. And I expect this team to come out really fired up and to use a Bryanism to play hard because they're angry. And to use that anger against the Vikings. The Vikings annihilated the Giants last week, who didn't show up to play at all in that game. But I just think they might be intimidated a little bit by the situation on the road. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to handle it in a winner-take-all type of situation with a young team like they have with a young quarterback. The elements really shouldn't be a problem because Minnesota's played outside this season, so whatever Mother Nature brings to Green Bay really shouldn't be an issue. But I'm taking the Packers in this case. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to do his Aaron Rodgers thing and pull some magic out of his ass and will the team to win.
So we've got a -3. Green Bay at home. Minnesota. Green Bay is currently locked in with a playoff berth. And so what is it exactly they're playing for today?
The division championship. If they win, whoever wins the division, and then they get to have a home playoff game next week.
Interesting about the NFC is there's no teams playing for a playoff spot today in the entire NFC.
Well, it's all about positioning, I guess, at this point.
Well, that's all it's about, but there's no team that's winning in or, exactly. Any kind of scenario, whereas in the AFC you've got 2 teams that are still alive, being the Steelers and the Colts.
And the Jets.
Well, the Jets are currently in, but there's 2 teams that could play their way in.
Well, the Jets haven't clinched anything yet. They need to win today, too.
That's true. Neither has Houston.
Yeah, so, I mean, you have several different clinching scenarios today. So, it's going to be interesting on the AFC side. The NFC, there's nothing going on.
Yeah, there's not much. And, I mean, that's why, as far as picks goes, I tend to stay away from those games because coaches are going to be basing decisions on playoffs as opposed to winning and losing a game.
Well, the only thing I got to give the NFL credit for is that they schedule some of these games to take place at the same time. Like the Arizona game and the Carolina game take place at the same time. So those teams have to play their people because if Carolina loses and Arizona wins, they get to be the number 1 seed. So they have to play it out. It's not like Carolina plays at 1, and then Arizona knows, okay, they lost, we're in, whatever.
They can't wait for the result.
Yeah, and so I like that they scheduled it that way. That those teams have to play it out. Same thing at 1 o'clock. You have Buffalo and the Jets playing at 1. You have what do you call it? Cincinnati and Baltimore. Cincinnati plays at 1, and New England plays at 1 because they can still balance for number 1 seed. The only one that's different is Denver plays at 4, so they would know if New England won or lost. That's where they play.
Clever, that's smart on the NFL's part.
Yeah, I like that.
But did they jockey those times towards the end of the season once they knew that was going to happen, or was that the way it was scheduled from the get-go?
They scheduled everything last Sunday night.
Okay.
They did it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, every game was scheduled for 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
And then what they do is they manipulate the schedule from there depending on what the situation calls for. That's why Minnesota and Green Bay play the night game, because that's the only game where a team can win the division.
So
every other game is
that the scheduling happened that way.
Yeah. So they knew what they were doing. So I like that they did that.
That is cool. Coming off a mulligan for last week and getting the what you just heard, the boat anchor intro, the well-deserved, well-earned boat anchor intro is your big Buru. He's a Buru for yet another season. He took a dive with San Fran last week. And this week he'll be taking a dive with who?
The Jets. He's taking the Jets at Buffalo. The Jets are favored by 3 points on the road. Buffalo beat Dallas last week, but Dallas just stinks. Buffalo has nothing to play for. I mean, I understand Rex Ryan would love to keep the Jets out of the playoffs, but they're playing with a one-hand tie behind their back here. The Jets have played very well lately. Half the Bills team has given up. Mario Williams is already on his way out of town. The quarterback situation is kind of I don't know how great Tyrod Taylor's been. He made it through the season, but the Jets, on the other hand, have been playing great. Ryan Fitzpatrick's been playing well. Brandon Marshall is putting up career numbers. Half the Buffalo secondary is going to be out for this game. Bilal Powell and Chris Ivory have been a good running combination for the Jets. So I think the Jets should win this game and should cover, honestly. Because I think if they can get up early and up by enough, the Bills are just going to give up because they don't care. In typical Rex Ryan fashion. So I think that put a smile on most of the Jets' face. They're motivated to beat him, too, to make him shut up and go away. Even though he's kind of eating his own words, so to speak, when he made a statement that he regretted guaranteeing that the Bills would be in the playoffs this season. They haven't been in the playoffs since 1999.
Who was quarterback in '99? What's his name? The congressman?
Jack Kemp.
Mm-hmm. Jack Kemp was QB.
Maybe.
And the Juice was still running the ball.
That's right. Oh my God. But yeah, so I think the Jets are going to win the game. They'll cover, and they'll make the playoffs.
I saw a headline that said that the locker room punch at the beginning of the season is the reason the Jets made the playoffs, because the way they're playing out that scenario, if the QB hadn't gone out with the locker room punch, that they wouldn't be in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, because Geno Smith stinks. They had to get rid of him at the end of the season. They had to find somebody else. He was a head case. They knew it when they drafted him. He was a head case.
Is he still hurt, or can he actually play?
He's not that good. I mean, the fans are planning on starting him, but if he was really that good, they would have put him back in and put Fitzpatrick back on the bench. But they obviously like what Fitzpatrick does better than him.
So he's not on IR now or anything?
No, he's the backup.
So he's officially the backup now?
Yeah, he's the backup.
And then where did How is the other Jets QB flop doing this year? What's his face? Sanchez.
Oh, he played 2 games for the Eagles and they got crushed in both of them. He started for Bradford. He stinks. He's terrible.
You know, that's kind of sad because, like, even as bad as Charlie Batch was, he had a hell of a career backing up Roethlisberger.
Yeah, right. He was in the league for like 15 years.
Yeah. And he stunk up the place in Detroit, but man, you know, he actually became a pretty damn good backup. He would come in and win a game, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what happens in Detroit.
Yeah. He was another brainchild of what's his face?
Morningweg.
Yeah. No, the
Matt
GM.
Millen.
Who's the GM that got fired?
Matt Millen?
Millen, yeah.
Yeah.
Another brainchild of Millen's. He's just like who's the guy in at the Redskins that likes to pick quarterbacks? The owner.
Dan Snyder?
Yeah, Dan Snyder. Another genius. How's that RG3 working out? Although the Skins are in the playoffs, damn it, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't because of him.
No. Because of RG3, that's for damn sure.
No.
Pesky Eskin, Stone Cold Mortal Lot. Week 17 is... Let's have it.
Well, I don't know why we picked this, but we did. Partially based on last week's performance by both teams. We're picking the game Baltimore at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is favored by -10. We are taking Baltimore, getting 10 points. Baltimore played a great game against Pittsburgh last week, and honestly, Cincinnati does not look the same without what's his name?
Quarterback.
The quarterback Dalton. You know, I don't really trust AJ McCarron, and I think the Ravens want to come out fired up. You know, they played a great game last week. I think they want to finish the season on a high note. They know their season's over anyway, but it just shows, you know, that Harbaugh is actually a decent coach to coach these guys up and get them to play as well as they did, despite their depleted defense and depleted offense. I think they'll make a game of it. I mean, I don't think they're going to win, but I think they have a chance to lose by less than 10 points.
Good thing you said McCarron, because I was going to say macaroon.
He's a cookie.
And who the hell's R. Mallet?
Ryan Mallett.
Yeah, who the hell's that?
He was with the Patriots, and he got traded to the Texans. Then he kept oversleeping and missing meetings, so they cut him. And then he ended up with the Ravens, and he actually played well last week against the Steelers, who didn't show up for that game last week. So he's starting for Baltimore today.
And what's Flacco? Is he out for the season?
Yeah, he hurt his knee. He's been gone for weeks. They started a bunch of clowns after he got hurt.
Is he going to be golfing with Romo today? They're out on the links today with Romo?
I don't think either of them are going to be golfing. Romo's a bad shoulder. How the hell can he play golf?
Romo's a great cheerleader, though. He loves to be on the sideline cheering.
Yeah, well...
It's like Ben Roethlisberger. It's like he would go out there and play in a wheelchair if he could.
Yeah. Yeah, he would.
Just loves being hurt. That's like, he's in his glory when he's hurt.
He loves being hurt.
Never seen him happier.
Yeah, I broke my leg. Woohoo!
It's like, if he's actually playing, he's all pouty and pissed off, and then when he's on the sideline, it's like, he's all happy and joyful.
Well, I don't know how much longer he's going to be in Dallas anyway.
I would ride him out of town on a rail. If I was him.
He's going to be 36 years old. I don't know how many more years they want to ride him.
How's Dallas looking for draft picks for next year? I mean, are they that bad, or are they going to get a decent draft pick?
They're going to have to take. Yeah, they're going to have a top 5 pick.
I think 4 and 11 will do it. That'll get you a top 5 right there.
Yeah, they should get. If they lose today, they'll get a top 5 pick, and they have to think about taking a quarterback because they need someone to replace Romo after the disaster of a season they went through this year.
As much as I would love to pick against Dallas, I just hate Washington that much that I won't. I won't take that 4 points. Yeah.
I would like to take Dallas this week. I think Dallas would be a better pick.
But why would they want to win? Just to fuck up their draft picks?
Well, no. It's just that, what do you call it? Washington isn't playing anybody today. Everyone's sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have nothing to play for. They can't improve their playoff position. They're locked in as the number 4 seed. There's nothing they can do about that. And they don't want anyone to get hurt.
This could be the greatest game ever. 2 teams trying not to win. The ball's going to be like a hot potato. It's like, you take it. No, you take it.
Well, the Eagles-Giants game is kind of like that today. Because the loser of the game gets a higher draft pick, and the loser also has to go to London next year to play the Rams. Well, the winner of the game obviously gets a worse draft pick, and they have to go to Seattle to play them instead.
I love these scenarios.
So both teams really want to lose this game today. It's in their best interest to lose. Maybe they'll tie.
It's like
we had a 7-7 tie today.
Starting for quarterback for the Giants will be Joe the Plumber.
Joe the Plumber.
That's going to be a laughable game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be awful.
Coughlin's going to resign tomorrow.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of coaching vacancies.
It's like quarterback sneak on 2.
But it's the first play of the game. I don't care.
The entire game of quarterback sneaks.
That'd be pretty funny.
Doing like the victory formation with like every set of downs they're going to be doing the victory formation.
Make that game end as quickly as possible. Let's get the hell out of here.
Well, hey, here's what I want to take action on. How many red flags will there be? 0. Nobody's going to protest anything.
Yeah, right. They just want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I'll take that action. Zero red flags in those games. Can I get some action on that?
Yeah, right. That's probably a good one. What are you over 100? Like 1.5?
No, I'd say 0. I'll take 0.
0.
So if anyone wants to go to betsides.com and post up that action, I will take it. If you want to go 1 flag, I'll go 0 to your 1.
But see, this show isn't being broadcast live to the world. So once this gets posted, it'll be too late.
This show is officially sponsored by betsides.com, where you can win using Bitcoin. Place your bets, people.
Using Bitcoin.
Or Litecoin or any other kind of altcoin that you choose. Just let me know whatever type of altcoin you want to use, as long as it's not cash. We're going to use cryptocurrency. It's a whole new form of betting, and it's going to be a game changer out there in the betting world. So
how about some old francs that I have?
So what, Franks?
Francs, yeah.
Absolutely. You go to wallofcoins.com and you take your francs down to the bank and exchange them for Bitcoin. Absolutely.
Even though they're a dead currency.
What do you mean dead currency? Well, I know it's the euro, but I mean, so why the hell you have to exchange them for euros, don't you?
I don't know. I don't think they'll take them anymore. I mean, they changed like 15 years ago.
How many do you have?
I don't know. It's probably like 6 or 7.
All right, I thought you were talking about like thousands of dollars worth of francs you're sitting on or something.
No, it's probably about $1.
$1 worth.
Yeah. It was 7 francs for $1.
Those are collector's items, I think.
Yeah, at this point, yes.
Oh, I was thinking of Deutschmarks, but you're talking about francs. You're talking about French money.
Yeah. Yeah, not marks.
Hell, well, you know, we all know about the great French economy.
Yeah.
Sit and drink wine at 3 p.m. on a work day. Yeah. The wheels of production are really rolling there.
Yeah, they have like a 15 or 17% unemployment rate, I think.
Yeah. Here's what we need the French for: wine, perfume, and art. Okay. Leave the rest up to us, French people. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, they make good movies.
What? What movie?
They make a lot of good movies.
Godzilla attacking the Eiffel Tower? What?
No, that was Japanese. Those are Japanese movies. Those aren't French movies.
Name one good French movie.
Let me see. God. Les Compères.
Seven Goes Paris?
No, it's a comedy. What's the other one? La Chèvre. Jean de Florette. Manon et de Sauce.
Everybody loves subtitled movies. I mean, who among us does not love subtitled movies?
You?
The only thing good about a French movie is you get to see bare breasts. Other than that.
They have those in all movies. Because he's pouting that Chip Kelly got fired and that Howie Roseman rose back to power after he was demoted last year.
So let's do the Buru You For Real.
All right. The Buru's You For Real is typical Buru. He's taking the biggest story of the week and running with it. That he's upset that the Eagles finally fired the stupid Chip Kelly and that Howie Roseman rose back to power within the Eagles' organizational structure. He thinks he's a weasel and that he's a jerk, and that him and Jeffrey Lurie are secretly gay lovers who have trysts in their office together. And that, if it's Wednesday, Howie goes under Lurie's desk, and if it's Thursday, Lurie goes under his desk. Anyway, regardless of Brian's crazy fantasies about what people do in offices, he's mad that they fired him, and he's mad that what the potential replacement could be for Roseman. For Kelly. He doesn't want some guy who's a puppet like Doug Peterson. If he gets hired, he'd be a total puppet coach like Jim Tomsula was for the 49ers. So he's upset at the Eagles and the organization, so that's his you for real.
I mean, who's the top prospect for coaches? I would take this guy, Willie Taggart, the USF coach. I'd bring him up there to fill it.
No college coaches. They already did that. That didn't work like it usually doesn't. It looks like the offensive coordinator for the Bears, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, and the defensive coordinator for the Panthers are all like the top of the list. The Eagles already interviewed the obligatory black guy, so they got that out of the way.
Who among them has actually been a head coach?
Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator for the Patriots, was briefly the head coach for the Broncos. He lasted about 22, 23 games before they fired him. But that was a few years ago. So maybe he's changed at this point.
But the Patriots aren't, they kind of lost some of their luster towards the end of the season anyway.
Well, they lost some of their players, but you need players to win. I don't care what you do. You need players.
Yeah. Well, that should be an interesting scenario. So that's the Buru You For Real. Let's have the Danny D You For Real.
All right, I'm going to the well one more time and going against those wonderful Cleveland Browns. I hope they never fire Mike Pettin or get rid of Manziel and keep everyone together forever, because this is the greatest comedy team since George Burns and his wife and back in the day Abbott and Costello, the Three Stooges. It's just great. All right, at the end of the game against Kansas City, it was like 4th and whatever, and they had one play left. There's 9 seconds left in the game. So Manziel, instead of throwing the ball towards the sideline so they could get a timeout, or short so they could spike the ball and try to kick a field goal, he throws 20 yards down the field. The guy catches it, gets tackled inbounds, and the clock runs out. And in the middle, at the end of the game. And then Manziel goes crazy. He throws his helmet in the middle of the field. Right. And then you see they had the shot of Mike Pettin, who's all mad. He throws his clipboard on his headphones on the ground. storming off the field. It was just great. It was such a typical Browns loss. They lost track of time. They lost track of how many timeouts they had. They didn't know. The clock was running out, and then Menzel goes nuts. And then what the best part is, because they were mad about what happened, they somehow gave him a magical concussion 2 days later, so to knock him out for the rest of the season. And then yesterday, he was photographed at a Las Vegas casino, screwing around.
Well, they're better than the Kardashians, I'm telling you.
Oh my God, it's great. It's just great stuff. This is one thing after another. All these party videos keep coming out of Menzel, and from recent weeks of him drinking and carrying on, which he really isn't supposed to do, because he just came out of rehab. Then you have this coach who's powerless to do anything. He sits there and makes the same angry face, and he can't do anything about it. And he looks like a jerk week after week. He's going to be fired, and the general manager both going to be fired tomorrow.
Maybe they should have let, after the Browns got stolen away into Baltimore, maybe they should have just left well enough alone,
And not put a team back there?
They could have reminisced about the old Bernie Kosar days and, Jim Brown and all that kind of stuff.
They didn't need to bring them back?
Yeah, they may want to let that dead dog lie.
Up there, they called them the clowns.
And it's like poor Paul Brown, man. He's got to be rolling over in his grave. Like, this is your namesake that you left us.
Yeah, right. Like, oh my God, I'm named after this.
The hapless Browns.
They named that team after me.
Yeah. He's like, you may want to rename that team the Cleveland Dogs or something,
Well, first they screwed themselves by changing their uniforms. I used to like their uniforms. Now they're just awful. And then they just, I don't know. This is what's wrong with that team. They keep firing coaches and general managers. You can't just fire everyone every couple of years. I mean, you can't have that type of dysfunction. You have to have continuity with a team in order to be successful. I mean, and part of the problem, too, is Menzel, that he has been a disaster. Because generally the way it works is the coach is married to the quarterback. And if that relationship works, then the team can be good for a long period of time, and you have stability. If it doesn't work, then you're screwed year after year after year.
Like Belichick and Brady,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Belichick and Brady. When back in the day, Manning and Dungy, all these people like that. And that's how it works. McCarthy and Rodgers. You need a quarterback to be there, and you need to go forward. Like it could be in Washington now with Gruden and Cousins.
Well, I mean, back in the heyday, you had like Bradshaw and Chuck Noll and Staubach and Laundry, was it?
Yeah.
Was that the coach of the Cowboys?
Yeah, he's the guy who wore that damn hat all the time.
Yeah, wore the hat.
Yeah.
And Bart Starr and Lombardi, it's like you got to have these.
You got to have it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're in trouble. You have to have that relationship. That's the only, the Giants and Coughlin and Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Fran Tarkenton and what's his face? That guy who wore a T-shirt all the time. Bud Grant.
Bud Grant, yeah.
Reed and McNabb.
And who was the coach during the heyday of who was the Buffalo's QB that went to 4 Super Bowls and never won?
Kelly and Levy.
The coach of the 49ers when Montana
Walsh.
was there was
Bill Walsh.
Who?
Bill Walsh.
Walsh, yeah.
No, you're right. That's how it works. And without that relationship, a team cannot be successful. I mean, the Browns haven't had the same coach for more than 3 years since they came back in the league, and they keep going through quarterbacks year after year after year. It just doesn't work. You can't do it.
And my view for real is that you've got teams that are 500 teams in bowl games for NCAAF.
How about they're below 500?
Who's that? Really?
Some teams were 5 and 7. They have 40 bowl games now, so they need 80 teams. And they didn't have enough 6 and 6 teams, so they had to take some 5 and 7 teams to play in bowl games.
I think the only bowl game they're missing now is the Toilet Bowl. We need to get that one online.
Yesterday they had the Cactus Bowl.
Who's watching this garbage?
I have no idea. I can't. It's like, what? You used to have the Continental Tire Bowl.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, no, yesterday it was like something to do with money. It was what was it? Was it some type of
The Tax Slayer Bowl.
Tax Slayer? I'm like, what the hell is this? Tax
Yeah,
Slayer Bowl.
And what the hell is what was it? Bullfrog. It was the Bullfrog Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah,
What the hell is that?
unnecessary.
What is it? I don't even know what that is.
It's not worth your money. That's what it is.
Well, I don't watch any of it, so I don't really care. I just think it's funny, some of these bowls they come up with. You're right. That is a disgrace. They have 6-6 and 5-7 teams in bowl games. It takes the luster away from the bowl.
And where are we at with the national championship? Who's in? Alabama won, right?
Yeah, Alabama and Clemson play on the 11th.
The 11th. Wow.
Yeah, for the title.
For the title. But all those top bowl games, the ones that actually were consequential, I was watching them. It was exactly as predicted. There was no upsets. Everybody won who was supposed to win. I looked at the spreads, and it's like everybody was covering the spread. Everybody was winning how they were supposed to be winning. It was like a bettor's dream, from what I could tell.
Was it? They said the only mistake they made was that they played the two national semifinal games on New Year's Eve instead of New Year's Day. And they had a 36% drop in the ratings from last year, and they played on New Year's Day.
Instead of when? The day before New Year's Day?
Instead of New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, who the hell's home? I didn't even know those games were on.
Right.
Whereas if you have a New Year's Day, everyone's home, everyone's working off their hangover.
That's right. Everyone's going to sit in front of the TV and work off their hangover, right?
Yeah. I didn't get that. I thought that was dumb.
That's a good point.
And the other thing, too, that was dumb, that Fiesta Bowl started at 11 o'clock Phoenix time, that game, in the morning.
What, like 7 a.m. on the East Coast or something?
No. It's, what was that, 1 o'clock on the East, 2 o'clock on the East Coast?
Oh, it started at 11 a.m. out their way. Okay.
Yeah, so it's, no, it was 1 o'clock East Coast time. It's 2 hour difference this time of year.
I got you. So I'm going the other way with it.
Yeah.
So you were saying it started too early. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the football game's supposed to start at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's not high school, I get that. But 11 o'clock for a bowl game, especially one of those is a big bowl game.
It's not Pee-wee football.
It's not the Tax Slayer Bowl, which they could start at 9 in the morning because nobody cares.
Tax Slayer.
On a horse or something?
That is sad.
Oh, it is sad. Oh, it's ridiculous. Oh, the Boca Raton Bowl.
You're going to have, like, Mr. Lee's Corner Market Bowl.
They have the Heart of Texas Bowl, the Boise Bowl, the Vegas Bowl. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Armed Forces Bowl.
We could cut that in half. Easily.
No, it's really dumb. But the Armed Forces Bowl is played on Navy's campus.
I didn't know that.
And they were in it this year, so they got to play a bowl game at home. I mean, what the hell's with that?
I was watching that game. I was looking at it kind of funny. I'm like, where the hell are they playing this thing at?
It's ridiculous. That's a good view for real, too. Playing a bowl game at home.
A home bowl game.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's ridiculous. Now, I guess, theoretically, if USC makes the Rose Bowl, that's their home stadium, so they'd be playing a home game, but that's not the Armed Forces Bowl, so they kind of get a pass on that one.
Yeah, but that's but that bowl's been around forever. This military or whatever it is, Armed Forces Bowl is new. I mean, they purposely set it up that way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I don't think that when the bowl out there in California was set up, I don't think they had the venues to even play games anywhere else.
Well, they'll probably start playing them when they build that new NFL stadium in Los Angeles. They might move it over there.
Right.
They might even get more bowl games after that, actually.
That's right. We need some more bowl games now.
Because they'll have that new stadium there.
The Motor City Bowl.
Oh yeah, the Motor City Bowl.
That's necessary. So week 17 picks are Big O picking Indy, Big D picking Packers, Big B picking Jets, and the Pesky-esque Stone Cold Mortal Lock is a Baltimore plus 10 at Cincinnati. Any final comments from Danny Day?
Well, I hope we end the season strong going into the playoffs. You know, maybe have a nice 4-0 week for once. You know, end the season.
We do have a good playoff record and a perfect Super Bowl record, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And as always,
score with Big Pick 4.
So what do you got going on today?
My friend's coming over. We're going to watch the Loser Bowl between the Eagles and the Giants.
What time is the Eagles game on today?
1 o'clock.
So the Boo might rise by then. He might rise out of his slumber by then.
Maybe. I mean, he texted me. He was going to bed at 11 o'clock last night.
Compared to me, I went to bed at like 3 a.m. last night.